Right, while you've not been looking, I've been retrieving the lids and things out of the company dishwasher, and that now looks pretty splendid. Now, before setting up the receiver, making sure the clarifier is at the central position, because we're going to be setting the receive frequency and we don't want that to be lopsided. So ensuring the signal generator is spot on the frequency we want, which is 27.79125, and I've just trimmed that to be exact. Switching on the marker oscillator and turning off the tone on the signal generator. I've just got that's a 3 microvolt signal going into the radio. So switch the marker oscillator on, see whether we can get a Can you hear that musical note? Just turn the volume up. It's actually spot on. But I just wanted to prove that with this radio, because if it isn't, we would need to adjust the yellow core of transformer 5 down there, which would put the 10.695 onto frequency. These radios can suffer from the transmit being off frequency in one direction and the receive frequency being off in the other direction, and that would be quite interesting because it wouldn't work very well at all. So just now doing the normal things on receive, and that's the dropping off the attenuator, that's 1 microvolt, that's 0.3 of a microvolt. I'm just turning down the volume a little bit. I'll just look at my notes. I think we'll do the detector first. We'll go back to a 100 microvolt signal, and the detector is L14. L14 is the red one. Just to make sure we've got maximum recovered audio from that. I've gone and adjusted the wrong one. I'll just put it right. That was T14. I should have adjusted L14. And that is L14 maximum. Okay, so we've now covered that coil. Transformer 13. Transformer 11. And then adjusting with the noise blanker switched on, transformer 8. So now what have we got on the receiver? Well, 0.2, 0.15, 0.1, 0.06. So yeah, it's very sensitive. A little bit better than that sample I had on the base station, This is transmitting a tad under the 4 watts, but it's receiving that a little bit better, and it just goes to show how, you know, samples vary from radio to radio because of the tolerance of components. So now we'll set the S meter for S9. So introducing a 100 microvolt signal, it is S9 on the screen there. However, if we needed to adjust it, it's the preset VR7, which is just down there. I said this looks like new, it's hardly been touched. Right, now we'll set the squelch. So turning the signal generator off, setting the squelch for threshold, switching the generator on, now that's a bit strong. I want it a bit weaker than that. So it's VR3. We'll just see if we can make it a little bit weaker. Set threshold. Generator back on. No. It's still performing in the same way. So what we'll do is just check the top end of the squelch. So we'll turn the squelch on the radio to full and see where it comes in. Well, it comes in at 300 microvolts, so we can adjust the sensitivity a little bit more. That's S9 it's coming in at now. So that's full squelch is S9. So now we'll just check the bottom end again, switching off the generator. Carefully switching the radio to the correct threshold. Generator back on. And that's, at the moment it's coming in at 3 microvolts and going off at 1.5. I'll just see whether we can balance that a little bit better. Let's just take the sensitivity down a absolute fraction. Switching the generator back on. It's coming in at 1.8 microvolts and it's going off at just around about 1.8 and coming off. I think that's going to be our best compromise, and we'll just now set the squelch again to threshold to full on the radio. And it's coming into 100 microvolts. That's the best compromise. I would have liked it a little bit more sensitive, but it'll certainly let quite a lot through. So that should have covered everything. And just don't make my mistake, and remember that's the detector, which is L14 and not T14, which is part of the receiver IF. The other thing I will just mention is the 455 IF is L13, so it's just as well to make sure that you've set that up, which we have. Right, so I'll put it together and then we'll put it on the air and we'll see how it performs.